What's that?
You actually see when somebody's listening to you and such?
Yeah, well, I see people's chat. Let's see here.
Hmm.
And I do have a thing on here that I'm looking at where there are concurrent viewers, playbacks, that sort of thing. It says one, but that could be me, you know.
Hmm.
So I'm assuming it's me, unless somebody gets in the chat and says, nope, it's somebody else. So, all right. Anyway, the first thing, well, let's go to Market Garden first. I know that was the second thing I was talking about, but Market Garden is our new campaign that we've been working on. It's totally experimental, and we'll get to Bagration in just a second. But the campaign that we're working on with Flames of War, and I'll pull up. Hold on a second. I've got some videos here. Let's
All
see if
right.
this one. So we've
All
got.
right, so I've got my artillery here.
It's
I've
pretty loud,
got.
isn't it? Can you hear that?
I can't hear a thing.
Okay. Anyway, right now I'm looking at our, the road. Let's see if I pull back here. But that's the first bridge I'm looking at on our game where you had your machine gunners in a house and
Oh yeah.
the other platoon in the other house guarding the bridge. And my paratroopers really weren't in a bad position to start out. So
The, I think you kind of put your guys a little too close to the bridge. You weren't counting on the machine guns being that range.
yeah, well, I forgot how many shots you had. Also, you were pinned down, so I wanted to get him into the forest, but let's see. So we played it that you had the first turn,
Hmm.
then I landed, so you didn't have any targets the first turn, and then on your
But I
second
got my.
turn, yeah, on your second turn you unpinned immediately and just raked them.
Well, they. I'm a firm believer in the machine guns. It's
Yeah.
like I think they're underrated.
They're what?
They're
They're underrated?
underrated completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I got some more heavy machine guns because I absolutely love them. Like yeah, they might get the second they get out of their hole or out of protection, they're dead instantly.
Yeah.
But I mean, 6 shots when they're sitting there. I mean, you can't hate that.
Right. And
And
when
then
you're when you're
four
in
of them.
when you're in a building, they all have line of sight out of those windows. So you got what,
Yeah.
24 shots on my guys?
Yep.
So yeah, that was.
24. Brutal.
And this monitor's not working here, Melissa. I don't know what.
And they're like what? I'm trying to find my books here while I was working on my Ferdinands, letting the barrels dry on them.
Yeah. So
I might get a pin dice and maybe drill into them a little bit, make them look like they have more of a barrel to them. Not sure yet though.
hmm. So yeah, that's how the battle started. And then let's see. So I'm gonna.
Turn, was it turn 5?
That's really loud. So yeah, I got my platoon, my second platoon in the forest, what was left of it. And let me scroll through. And you got your Ferdinands. My planes went after them in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the turn, so that's where I'm looking at now. Uh, and basically, your tactic was to just, um,
I should have spread those guys out a little more. I wanted you to destroy my vehicles. I didn't
yeah,
care.
yeah, you
I
create
wanted
those
a
roadblocks.
I wanted a cork put on top of that bottle right there, and it
Yeah,
somewhat worked. I didn't count on the two up. That was kind of that flawed on me, but
the what? The
I
two
was
up?
happy with it altogether.
Yeah,
Like
no,
I wasn't. Yeah, they had a high pass. I was not expecting that. Here we
yeah,
go.
the cross here is basically just, so you can move fairly freely. Um, when you have three up, when I saw three up, when version 4 came out, I was worried about moving through terrain. And it is a hindrance. However, with the cross here, it makes you a two up, and in some cases, automatic if you have like tigers and panthers, but then you can't shoot.
Mhm.
So that's a trade-off, and that I think that's a fair trade-off. That makes you make decisions. Nothing is automatic, really. You've got to make you take away something to get something, and that I think that's what makes a fun game where you're making these decisions. Uh, but in our scenario, everything was off the board and dead, so I didn't have to worry about shooting. So your tactic, while not as effective as you thought because of that rule, it was effective. It still, did slow me down, some of my units down. So,
The only other thing that disappointed me was my Tigers came out close to the bridge. I honestly wanted them in the back so I could pull them back for the next game.
yeah, let me pull that up. Hold
All
on.
right, so I already moved.
I got to turn
And
that
I was
off.
pleasantly surprised with Kurt. Was it a Kispel?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I
Yeah,
was experimenting with. I've never played a like honestly, I haven't played this game long in the relative things, and so I'm always a little skeptical of using like these hero cards for like 8 points. I'm like, dude, I can field like another regiment almost for 8 points.
yeah.
But he was worth every penny because he
Well,
stood there like a rock.
you were just having fun watching me mess with him and not get him. Because I hit him so many times and failed firepower checks, which bails him out. And with the double bail, you have a chance to get that tiger off the board. So right now we're looking at that screen, and we see the tigers over here on the side. And I was going after him with planes, with M10s, with fireflies, and I was able to take out the other tank fairly quickly. But the
Mm-hmm.
Knipsel, what was his name?
Kispel,
Knipsel.
Knispel.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and it's like this unit automatically passes all last stand tests, and I was like, that was worth it in a nutshell because he just okay, yeah, you bailed me out. I'll be back next turn.
yeah, I mean he lasted 2 extra turns or something because I kept bailing him out, and you get a double bail, and they've got to do a stand, and even if it was two up, which I think it was, at least there was a chance he might
Mm-hmm.
run because I was doing it again and again and again, and it just since he can't run, it didn't matter. If I keep bailing you out, it's literally nothing. So it wasn't even
Yeah,
a small chance to get you off the board.
so those 8 points paid for themselves in that way because it gave me an extra 2 turns and it kept them around.
Well, I mean, you wound up taking out two M10s, 17 pounders, which, if you keep coming
I
at me with,
kind of, I kind of wish I would have shot at those. I guess you had them as Cromwells, but they were the Crusader tanks on the field because you had them proxy.
right.
I kind of wish I would have shot them and clogged up the road a little more.
Yeah, but and I'm looking at it right now. I had them pretty spread out off the road. I had some Shermans on the road, so maybe if you're going after the Shermans, could have clogged up the road there a little bit more. But yeah, it became a total traffic jam on that bridge. It was a complete mess, and that tiger was part of clogging me up. I mean, the infantry really was the thing because you had your infantry in the house closest to me and your machine guns over here. And my paratroopers were able to finally get those machine guns. Once I pinned them, I got in there, wiped them out, took over that north house, and then the Crusaders came in and started messing with the South House. And by the time the paratroopers you got there, your guys had to retreat from not the Crusaders, but the Cromwells. And once they were out of the house, that's when I started obliterating them. So, um,
But honestly, those machine guns paid for themselves. Let's see what they were.
yeah,
They were actually part of a team with the half track.
right,
7 points, and
yeah,
they took out your HQ, and they killed a few more stands on top of that. So they technically paid for themselves.
right. All right. Before we spend too much time on that, let me skip ahead. It's gonna
All
be
right,
loud.
so
Okay. Oof. Yeah, that's still. Yeah, we were just the traffic jam. I'm looking at the screen right now, and this video will be up later. But yeah, now I got a picture of the tanks, and it is just tanks everywhere trying to get through onto the bridge. and it's just a hilarious visual of trying to get all these guys across a bridge and onto the other side. And basically, what happened was, you know, not to spoil everything, but trying to get across that bridge, we just kind of sped things along and kind of glossed over the rules because you did make a good point, you know, because I was trying to do each unit as I was doing them and how long it would take them, but they would really get in the way of each other. So they probably would have taken even longer, but I guess we could just throw in an experimental rule that, you know, if there's no opposition, then you can kind of speed things up and, you know, they go a little bit.
That's kind of where like push them out of the way and such.
Yeah, they
That
get
that
it.
would give you.
They get an all clear, which means that they're going to move faster. You know, they do better. So I probably got them off a turn or two faster, but you know, yeah. So that was the
I mean, I chose to pull my forces back too, and I was like,
right.
there was no way I could bottleneck you with that open ground. And I was like, I know I have two bridges coming up in the next scenario. I'm like, I'd rather have those infantry there, especially those 7.5s, to
Right.
harass you the next game, as opposed to just getting shot up immediately because you had two air units. I was outnumbered like what 8-1 almost. And
Yeah. The only
odds
thing,
weren't there.
the only thing in that is that I know exactly what you're bringing in, where you're bringing it in, you know, for part of the, you know, that part of your force. So I can at least prepare a little bit for my troops to try to deal with that. But so that
And
was
you're
Mark.
still,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
that was Market Garden in a nutshell. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So that was phase two of Market Garden. I'll put that video up shortly. I'm going to try to finish it up today and put it out there. And then, you know, the other news is on the other show that I was doing, I got a message from YouTube saying that they removed that video, and I didn't even put it in public. Yeah, I just, you know, somebody wanted to look at it, so I put it at, you know, hidden or whatever it is, and gave them the link. And then within an hour, I got a
Yeah,
message saying you violated some rule, like you were trying to scam people. And I was like, I'm just talking about a miniatures game. I don't know what you're, you know,
yeah, because like
I'm not selling
I
anything,
think I
right?
know who you're talking about. It was a guy we play with. Like, hey, can I look at this? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
So I was like, I don't know how this even. So, you know, they said, do you want to appeal? I'm like, yeah. I mean, and I put it in there. I really don't even know what you're talking about. I wasn't selling anything. I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not even, I guess you can call it an advertisement. I'm not trying to advertise this. I'm just talking about a game I like to play. And you know, I
And,
got some automated response. We have rejected your claim, and oh man. So
all
anybody
right.
that's listening, you know, if suddenly this channel disappears, um, yeah, I'll try to keep on the lookout. You know, I'll try to get some attention for another channel, but you know, I don't know what's going on at YouTube. They're really sensitive about some things, apparently. I know they give us
I
grief
put
over history. You can't say certain names. I don't think we said any of the bad names or anything. Or
no, like I got banned on Facebook for 30 days for like I got the 21st Panzer book,
yeah,
and they have a bicycle regiment. I'm like, hey, he's got a bicycle regiment. It's kind of like the Tour de France, and boy, did
yeah.
that go wrong.
I don't want you to say the joke because we might get banned for that one. I mean, you know,
Yeah, and
so
it
you
was
just
literally meant for you. That's the funny thing is you play the Allies.
yeah, you get you get banned or restricted for reasons that I don't know. I mean, I looked at the video and I didn't see anything in there that I thought was, you know, culturally offensive or anything. I mean, you're talking about World War II, so, you know, I guess some people get upset about war or something, but there's so many people that are on there that are talking about the same things. I don't know why I got picked on. So,
Mm.
yeah, that's what's going on
Well,
with YouTube right there.
if you hear noise on my end, I'm working on my models, so you're going to hear
Right.
shuffling and such.
And, you know,
Speaking of which, I found Russian guns.
yeah, and that's what we're talking about here with Soviet Bagration. Um, there's two reviews that have come out, one by No Dice, No Glory, and the other by Breakthrough Assault, and they're both very different. This is the first time I've seen these websites kind of diverge because the Breakthrough Assault gives you a breakdown of the Soviets, pretty much like they always do. They tell you what it's about, what you should be excited about, and basically promote it, and it's very very standard. However, over at No Dice No Glory, they kind of ripped it apart. They did not appreciate this book, and we were talking about it earlier that it's really probably about the IS-2s. And the IS-2s, when
They're
they
better than
teased it,
Tigers.
they're better than Tigers. Yeah, they and I proved it. I played it a few months ago. They teased the IS-2s, and let me find the car for it. Here's an IS-2, and they teased it, and they showed the points on it on that live stream, and it was 7 points a tank. And the Tigers are what, about 12 points a tank, 11 points, somewhere around
Yeah.
there. A little, the SS are 12 points a tank, and they're really, really good. They're really awesome. No weaknesses. Lots of fun to play. However, you've got a tank that's, it's not as good as a Tiger. I grant you, the IS-2 is not as good as a Tiger. However, it's almost half the cost. Okay, and it they shouldn't be that far apart. And I think that's the point that No Dice No Glory was making, was that the IS-2 is severely undercosted. I mean, just look at this thing. It is confident, better, and aggressive, which is not as good as a
It's a
Tiger.
beast.
What's that?
It's a beast. It's a solid. You can't mess with this thing, beast.
Yeah,
I fear for my troops now.
yeah. So we've got the confident, better, and aggressive, but they counterattack and last stand on three. The only thing they don't have that's good, that's bumped up, is the when you get bailed out, the remount. So when you remount
Yeah.
into into an IS-2, it's a 4-up, but they get to blitz on three, even though they don't have the stormtrooper rule, um, and they get hit on three instead of four like a Tiger. So there's, it's not as good. However, the front armor is 10 compared to the Tiger of 9. And then they're the same on the side and the top armor. They both got decent speed. By the way, I hear something going on your side. What is that?
That's a bag of M&Ms.
Okay, it's coming through loud. So
I'll back up a bit.
there you go. And it crosses on a three, which is not as good as a Tiger, which is a two. So I mean, it's just it is a nerfed Tiger, but when you look at the gun and it's slower firing, but whatever, it's like Ivan Drago. Whatever it hits, it destroys. It's 14 anti-tank and a 2-up firepower. What? And it's brutal. You know what brutal is?
Yeah, it's not much you can do against it.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, like, let's say your machine guns are in the house
Hmm.
and it shoots at you. It brutal. I think, if I remember correctly, I think you have to re-roll your saves. So it's brutal. It literally is brutal. Um, I have to look that rule up though, but that's what I believe it is. And it's got a good amount of machine guns. Like it's got 27, uh, not 27, 12.7 millimeter anti-air machine guns, which are
Lord,
self-defense.
really?
Yes, and they are 3 halted, 2 moving rate of fire, and they've got 5-up firepower, so they're like the 50 caliber guns.
Oh my lord,
Yeah,
that's
so
insane.
yeah, it's just an incredible tank for 7 points. I mean, you think about it, uh, Shermans are like 5 points, something like that. I mean, they're really, that these are very inexpensive beasts on the table. And I think a lot of people are going to play Soviets. They're going to bring out these IS-2s. They're going to just destroy all of your tanks with them, including Panthers and Tigers, because they're going to outnumber them. And then that's it.
It's a cat killer.
Yeah, total tank killer. And it destroys infantry
The
too.
Pumas,
Brutal
everything.
with brutal and the
Yeah.
machine guns. So I
I
think
won't
that's
lie to you. I'm building T-34s right now and KV-1s because I've always had these models, but I kind of want to play them now a little bit.
yeah. I mean, when you see this book, I think you're going to be like, okay, yeah, this is the power players book. You know, you want to go to a tournament and win, then you're probably going to be playing this Bagration book right now. And that's worrisome. You know, we were talking about what was it, Games Workshop and how they do this power creep. And I think a lot of people are going to look at this and wonder, is Battlefront doing, you know, because they've been copying a lot of the business practices of Games Workshop, and that scared off a lot of people. They don't like what Games Workshop does and how they force people to keep buying and buying and buying. I mean, that you got to keep. It's a business. You got to make money. You know, I
Yeah.
understand that. Um, but I don't think there was a need to have a power creep here. You know, I think they did it by accident. They're not real good at uh,
Well, there's no tournaments going on right now in their defense. You know, there's no
true.
you got no you got no pressure valve to see. Like, oh Lord, it's like I played 40K long before I played Flames of War, and I played a Chaos Army. I played Chaos in fourth and fifth edition, which it says itself. Like you know, you're not going to win a game here, but you're going to hold a good battle.
Right.
But the Space Wolves, when they came out, they were OP'd. Like they would murder you, and then the Blood Angels came out and murdered you. And it was always whatever the latest thing out was what you got. Like I quit like an edition ago because it's like I can't afford to because they kept coming up with new models and everything else. I'm like, you know, they look nice and all that, but I just can't afford to keep up with that.
Right.
The bright side about Flames of War, a T-34 is a T-34, whether it's mid-war or late war.
Yeah, and the way that they do those models are awesome because you get both the turrets for the 76 and the 85. So you can play that technically from um, mid-war, early war really to late war, and
Mm-hmm.
you can adapt them to the 85s and have a lot of fun with them.
Well, let's be honest. If I had the wrong turret on there too, and I'm just saying, well, they're T-34s, our games are real cool like that. We don't like shoot. We proxy a lot of stuff just to see, you know, we want to
Yeah,
get that model or not.
yeah, but then when
Like,
you go to tournaments, it's well, I think some
it's
people
what it
might
is.
say something to you.
It depends on what it is and what the tournament is. It's like, but then again, I'm not trying to be the world champion. I'm just trying to have a good time. Like, I enjoy painting the models. I love doing the infantry because you get to like put sandbags in there. Like with the Russians, I'm doing right now. I'm doing Stalingrad. So I'm going to try to make brick streets and rubble, and it'll look really cool. I think.
Right.
Like that's one thing that turned me on to 40K was like you know I can make some really awesome scenery.
Right. Yeah, and but the problem is you go to a tournament, you get to a power player, and they're just, you know, destroying
Oh,
everybody in
like
their path. It's not really fun to play that person. I knew
yeah,
somebody a while ago that they were all about dominating the game, and that was it. There was no experiment. The only experimentation was is how strong of a power list can I make this? How ridiculous can
oh,
it be? How much cheese can I
and
feed
their
into this?
and their painted army was a primer coat and a base coat. That was
Ex-
it.
No, that's absolutely true because and guess what army they played?
Oh, let me take a guess. In mid war, I'd say the Germans.
Well, it was late war.
In late war, Soviets.
Soviets, absolutely. That's what he played, Soviets, and he was a really good player. I mean, he knew. I mean, he would look at it, he would study it, and he was all about, making the best army. I mean, that was what was fun for him. The problem
I
is that
mean,
he would find these things that were unbeatable and like super unrealistic. He would find these weird combinations that it would totally lose if you had the right force, but no one's going to sell out to beat that force because if you played anybody but his force, you would lose. And that was the problem for me, is that you should be able to
yeah,
beat any decent balanced force should be able to beat any other decent balanced force or any force really, whether you keep it balanced or not.
that's kind of like why I like our restrictions. It's like, the paratroops are here. Okay, we're gonna play paratroops. No, all of a sudden Sherman tanks fly out of C-47. That didn't happen.
Right. Yeah. That I like our scenario
But,
where the tanks come where they're supposed to come and why they're coming. Uh, but in the tournament you got to have a little flexibility and it's fun that way.
well, to be honest, in our desert campaign, which never finished, like you said, uh,
Oh yeah.
the
What?
I had tigers. I had tigers a lot. Probably was there's tigers in Tunisia, like the 131 that the Bovington Museum has, which is probably one of the most beautiful examples of a World War II tank. Like I've looked at pictures of 131 for my like some of the camos I've painted on some of my tanks because it's gorgeous camo.
Right. Yeah, and
But
let's end on that because I'm looking at the breakthrough assault right now, and I don't mean to drag them or anything, but I'm looking for the ending of the campaign. Did they put it in here and I just didn't see it? Four battles yeah, see they never ended that campaign as far as I can tell. I mean, they just went straight on. Here's a Gazala campaign, turn two for brings us the first post-lockdown after action report. They never, I'm looking at it right now. I don't see dispatches from the front, Gazala turn three. These were after action reports. Let's see, it's a report,
hmm,
another report. Let me get down to the bottom, see, because I skipped to see.
well, the 21st failed in my opinion, on my games because I had all these great hopes and Rommel failed for me. And the Italians won, and that's like it blew my mind. I was like, I was expecting my Italian forces to be I'm going to lose these battles, and my Germans, like I'm going to win these battles. It was flip flopped. It was the opposite
Oh,
way.
here we go. We got a video. Chris, the results were done as a video on the YouTube. Oh, well, I didn't know that. I wish they had announced that. Let's see, Gazala. I'm gonna go right on YouTube right now. Gazala, because they were
Cool. I
doing some
want to know who
things,
won.
huh?
I want to know who won. Then I was curious.
Yeah, I was gonna do like a whole video. I misspelled campaign. There we go. Gazala campaign. That's me. I don't see it anywhere. Maybe I gotta look up breakthrough because I see our stuff. Yeah, we're right there. And let's see. Gazala campaign. Let's
Yeah.
see. Breakthrough assault.
Don't forget your lucky card, folks. That's the story of that campaign.
Breakthrough assault. I guess they were. But don't you think you would? Alright, he says it's there. Oh man, I'm just gonna have to look for it, unless it's this one right
Yeah,
here.
look for it later.
The final turn of our, because I think that's, uh, I'm gonna have to say that wasn't cool. Here.
What we wanted to do was give you guys the chance to.
I thought that set came with four Russian guns.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's what we've been up to. Like I said, I'll put it up there as, unless YouTube bans me in the meantime. We'll have the second part of Market Garden up there. You can see how that went. And, we didn't talk too much about Bagration except the fact that I think I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to say they're going to do some points adjustment because like you said, they don't have any tournaments right now. And just like the British Armoured Regiment, which I remember a few years ago, they didn't believe us when we told them, look, the British Armoured Regiment is broken. Don't do this, and they wouldn't listen. And then it was just tournament after tournament where British Armored Regiment were just not only winning but dominating every tournament. That they finally said, okay, we're going to send out stickers to change the game or change the point values. So I think that's what's going to happen. You know, the Soviets just look, they've got heavy armor, they've got light armor, they've got, looks like really good infantry with the sappers that can assault.
Do they got snipers though? That's my question, because that
I
could
didn't,
equal out the infantry a little bit. Because
uh,
you take out the commissar, it was like out with the Imperial Guard with the
yeah,
like the emperors for the 40K.
yeah, yeah.
You take out the
Well, here's the thing: is that they have body armor.
mm,
Let me find the rule. I think it's over here. All right, so let me tell you body armor. This is hilarious. A team with sapper body armor rolls on a die when hit in assault combat. On a roll of 6, they are unharmed. Any other roll did destroy. So if you're involved in assault and you hit, the Soviets, the sappers,
mm-hmm.
they get a 6 save, 6 up save. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's like but at least they get a save. So, I mean, just when you thought that the Soviets couldn't be any tougher, there you go. Sapper body armor. So, and then they got assault smoke. Assault smoke sapper teams that fire smoke bombardment may move an assault in the same turn they fire a smoke pots smoke bombardment. So you don't even need to like lay down smoke with your artillery or something like that. They have their own smoke
Oh
right
my
there.
lord!
It's crazy. How is
The
this even
beast.
how is this even a thing? So yeah, fearless
That's
veteran,
insane.
careful. I mean, I don't know what their prices are. We'll see what the prices are later, but we already know that the IS-2s are undercosted. So yeah, I totally hear what you're doing over
But
there. I don't know what you're doing, but sit still.
yeah, I'm digging through. I'm looking for the gun turrets actually right now for some
Uh,
T-34s.
okay, yeah,
But I'm
the more I talk
yeah
about Soviets, the faster you put those miles together, huh?
yeah necessity over virtue.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not seeing the turrets. I'll dig them out later.
okay.
My
All
wife
right.
makes me put everything in like little piles of stuff.
All right, so do you have anything else to say? I was gonna close out. I don't, the Bagration.
We were talking about a mid-war game with you doing Iron Cross, and I'll actually try to do the enemy at the gates and proxy my Germans as
Soviets.
Soviets. Just play some mid-war games like that and see how that went.
Yeah, that'll
Because
be
there really never really was a campaign for that, was there?
No, but that was the book that introduced the rules for city combat. So we'll
Yeah,
definitely have to have a lot of buildings and do city combat for that.
have to talk to old Dwayne.
Yeah, I gotta see what I can find about what to do for a campaign for that.
Oh,
Um,
wait till you see Arnhem Bridge. It's amazing. I'm
oh
gonna.
yeah, that's our big announcement also. The Arnhem Bridge. I don't have the pictures here on my computer, but Arnhem Bridge will be prominently displayed in our final
I'm
battle
gonna.
in 2 weeks from
I'm
now.
gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna try to prime that thing and get it base coated before Thursday, so I can get it all knocked out.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna close it out there, and check out our gaming videos that come out. We're gonna have one game a week as the schools have opened and things start speeding up for us. Things will slow down for Flames of War, but we'll try to put out as much possible for you guys. All right, Dan.
I'm
I'll
having
catch.
fun.
What's that?
Having fun. We'll
Yeah,
catch you at on the next game.
yeah. And hopefully some tournaments will open up and we'll do something with that.
Um, yeah, especially considering we're here in the Oasis.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere. All right.
Or,
All right, I'm gonna sign off now.
all right, have a good one, folks.
All right. See you later. All right, we're clear.